Hey, this is Eric from the African Homestead. If you're saying to yourself, man, you look like death warmed over, I would agree. I'm nursing a really bad chest cold. Started off the first day with just my throat was on fire for about 24 hours, and the second day it moved up into my sinuses and it was totally just couldn't breathe. Everything stopped up. And then day number 3 it moved into my chest, and I've been hacking ever since. And so I've been drinking some Moringa tea. And I think that helps a little bit, but I want to make some tea today and just share with you as I make it for my garden. And so here we go. So the first ingredient in my tea is going to be lemongrass, and this is some that I've just been growing here in my yard underneath the coconut tree. And so we're going to harvest that. I'm going to show you the right way to harvest lemongrass and the wrong way to harvest lemongrass. And it just depends. Well, I shouldn't say the wrong way to harvest lemon. There are 2 ways to harvest lemongrass. If you're going to use it for cooking, you're going to harvest it one way. If you're going to use it for tea, you want to harvest it a different way. So let me just, I'll show you as I'm cutting it. So with the lemongrass, you have kind of different parts of the plant. And so in this case, I'll just pull some of this stuff up. What you have down here in this part is what you'll want to use to make the tea, and then up in the stem is when you use it for cooking, like in Thai food, you'll chop up the stem and use that when you cook. But for tea, you definitely want to use this part down here. Now, because both my wife and I are sick, I'm going to be making a big batch in the pot, so I want to get enough of this. This I actually planted probably about a year ago, and then I just had like one sprig like this, actually not even this big, that I planted around this coconut tree, and it has really done a fantastic job of growing up. And they don't really, at least here in Liberia, they don't require too much care. You can see I put some mulch around it. I have added some compost to it, not the good stuff I have now, but my first batch of compost, which had a little bit of phosphorus in it, but wasn't too high on potassium or nitrogen. The other ingredient I'm going to use today is the moringa, and as you can see, we have some here. I'm blessed to have this available fresh, and so I can just come back here and cut some directly off these trees. And these are some of the younger ones that I planted this year, and doesn't take too much, but just enough that I'll be able to boil this fresh. If you have access to dry moringa, that's going to be just as good, as long as it's shade dried. If it's sun dried, the moringa tends to lose some of its vitamins. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is get the dirt off of here, because the part that we're going to be using is going to be down in this base of the lemongrass. And so just kind of get that dirt off and get it cleaned up. Okay, all right, got that. Now we've come to cutting the lemongrass, and this is actually very important, because when you cut lemongrass, how you cut it depends on how you're going to use it. And so in this case, since we're going to be using it for tea, I'm going to be cutting down here in this base section. If you're going to be using it for cooking, then you're going to use more of this section with the leaves. The main reason being, this has a great lemon flavor when it comes to cooking, especially for like Thai food. But if you use this part to make tea, which people commonly do, but when you use this part to make tea, it can make the tea more bitter. But when you use this base section to make the tea, it'll have the same great lemon flavor, but it's going to be more sweet. And so this one, how you do it, you kind of, a little bit of trial and error. You take some of the outer layers off, and I just cut it in this way until I get down to where it starts to get a little bit of a pink color. And I don't know if you can see this. Excuse me. I don't know if you can see this. I'm trying to get it to focus here on my, okay. It's got just a little bit of a pink color to it, or a purple color. That's the part you want. And so you cut it down until you get that, until you get rid of, until you don't have this green anymore. And you're getting into some of the heart of this base piece. I don't know what it's called, but you do that and do the same thing on the other end. And for tea, that is the best part. And so I just, and you can see it here. See how this inner part has kind of a pink color to it. That makes the best lemon tea. It's not bitter, it's nice and sweet. And so what we'll do when we get to that part, then I just take this and I cut this up into smaller pieces, so when I boil it, there you can really see the color. Excuse me. So when I boil it, it helps it steep a lot faster. And so I'll just do that with the remainder of this. About everything. I'm going to need to rewash these because I didn't quite get all the dirt out of there. Just rinse them through some water, get them nice and clean again, and they are ready for the tea kettle. Okay, so as I head over to the tea kettle, one thing I do want to mention that with lemongrass, one of the reasons I'm using this is it's very good for digestion. It also has benefits of being full of antioxidants. It helps regulate high blood pressure, boost metabolism. It's a great source for vitamins A and C, and it also helps with cold and flu congestion, which is my main goal today. So with all the leftovers, because I tried and my animals do not like lemongrass, so we're just going to go over here to the old compost bucket and put that inside, and that will go into the compost tomorrow. Oh, there we go. And now we'll move on to preparing the moringa. And for those of you who are not familiar with moringa, it is just chock full of vitamins, minerals, amino acids, antioxidants. Some people call it they call it the miracle tree. Some people call it a superfood, and honestly, I think it's all of those things. And so the way I prepare it, I'll prepare it the same way today as when I prepare it for drying. And that is, I just come in stripping the leaves off of each branch. Fairly quick process. And when I dry it on a very low heat in the oven. I'm going to be building a solar oven, or not a solar oven, a solar dryer. Once I get up country, I'll start drying them there. It's always a preference. It's a preference to dry in the shade over drying in the sun, even though both work. But when you dry in the shade, it preserves all of the vitamins and minerals. You still have good moringa, and it's very beneficial that when you dry in the sun, but you do lose some of those vitamins when you dry it in the sun. And so it's just always, might as well keep them if you can. So that's what I do here, just kind of strip everything off here. Moringa has a little bit, I mean, it's a mild flavor. Some people say when you make it with a tea, it's a little bitter. And it's a little bit, but you know what I usually do is I'll just throw some black tea in with it when I brew it, or I'll throw in some chai tea, just some kind of a flavored tea, maybe sometimes a flavored green tea, and that very easily covers any bitter flavor from the moringa. I shall also mention it fights inflammation, reduces the symptoms of diabetes, it promotes healthy heart, liver, and brain, and is microbial and has antibiotic properties, so it's great to use. So normally when I dry the moringa for tea, you know, it's all brittle and you can just crush it up, and then I keep it in a Ziploc to keep it dry because it's very humid here in Liberia. But so today, what I'll do is just kind of chop it up with a knife to kind of open things up. So when I steep it in the pot, that all the benefits of the moringa will come out. Okay, so this may look like a lot of moringa leaves for tea, and it is, but I'm really sick. And so I just need this big vitamin boost and boost of the goodness the moringa offers. The other thing I'm doing is I'm boiling it in a large pot, and so in that tea kettle, you know, probably a liter of water in there, and so we're going to be drinking off of that for quite a while, today and tomorrow. So just take this, move it over here, put it in the kettle. Okay, just get this pushed down into the water. I'm going to go ahead and fire this up, and let's see. There we go. Got it going. I'm going to bring this up to a boil, and then it will go ahead and boil it for another 5 to 10 minutes. Let it steep. I want to make sure that all the nutrients and all the goodness right there are not left in the leaves, are not left in the lemongrass. Okay. There, we'll just turn the heat down here on low. Let that just boil slow for a few minutes, and after that, let it steep for a little while longer, and I'll enjoy some tea. Isn't this just relaxing to watch? I wonder what it would look like in slow mo. Okay, the tea has finished boiling and steeping. I did add in 3 bags of black tea, some Ceylon tea, to give it some flavor. Now, I'm going to go ahead and screen this because I boiled it loosely, but if you use tea bags with your moringa tea, you won't have to worry about this. And so, not too bad. It has a nice color to it. Now, something else I want to add to this is some honey. You know, aside from a lot of the health benefits, it boosts the immune system and soothes sore throats and coughs, which, as you can tell from this video, I have an issue with all of that. So I'm going to add a nice big spoonful. I usually don't like much sweetener in my tea, but again, extreme situations call for extreme measures, and so I'll just put that in, sweeten it up, and enjoy. Okay, so that's it to the Moringa lemongrass tea with honey, organic honey. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. If you could, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. And I'm curious, do you have any special things you use, special concoctions that you make for when you have chest colds and other illnesses? Please feel free to share in your comments below, and maybe I can incorporate that into a new video next time I get sick. Hopefully that'll be a long time. Thanks. Bye.